Top of the morning to you. I hope you're all fine and dandy and staying ahead of the game. Remember, it is a game, and every one of us, each one of us, must play our part. And I'm going to be taking more Facebook posts. This is another Facebook post for those who are not on Facebook or don't have the time to sit and read posts, but you can sit and listen to the audio. So this is Orion, Osiris, the Nimrod, the Rebel Within post, and I am now going to upload this video to YouTube so that those who are not on YouTube can catch up with the information which I have been sharing for quite a number of years now. So I hope you enjoy this, and that each living being receives benefits, goodness and revelation in their being as I share this post with whoever is listening. Keep shining, stay sovereign, don't forget to look up stuff. Orion, Osiris, the Nimrod, the Rebel Within. The Orion story is one of the oldest Greek legends, and even the Israelite folk knew he was a man of renown, as it says in Genesis 6. His character can be spotted in the middle heaven, or the canopy of the lower heavens just below the Taurus. This is known as the Central Belt, Orion's Belt, over the lands of Canaan. He's a hunter, and he's hunting for the living and the dead in the lands of Canaan. Orion is where we get the name Arran. This is why the Holy Isles of Arran are special. It represents Orion, the physical man. If I can just interject in here, we have the Arran Isle in Ireland too, because Orion also moves over the Isle of Man and some parts of Ireland and Northern Ireland. In the Irish legend, he is known, or the story is known, of Finn McCool and his dogs. Orion moves above the Western Lands and the Isle of Arran and the central belt of Scotland. This is why this area of Scotland is known as the Central Belt. It represents the ancient cosmic belt of Orion on the Great Tree. The Central Belt is also the asterisms we know as Canis Major, Canis Minor, defining for us where Orion's belt sits under this north celestial pole, and exactly where the land of Palestine and the land of Canaan sits, for this is the land, the Paleolithic land, where all ancient civilizations began, also known as the land of Canaan, under Orion's belt. This is also marked on many standing stones within the Strathclyde and the Stirlingshire area of Scotland. Kilmartin Glen being a place worth visiting to see the 5,000 plus year old art petroglyphs, rock drawings of the Milky Way and Orion's belt and the upper celestial canopy. It's a fantastic place to visit. The dogs of Orion's belt and that portion of the sky is the area of the hunt and the hunted. We are the hunted, the flesh. This is the area of the hunted within the signs of the ecliptic, within the 12 zodiacal houses. Each one of us are born into the 12 zodiacal houses. And Orion, Osiris, Nimrod, the heaven's rod, is the one who hunts those who are born in the houses. And of course we see this with royal hunting parties. This tradition carried on in a similar form, using dogs for the hunt. Hunting for unicorns and such, but that's another post. The dogs are all Orion, or Osiris's, Nimrod's dogs. He is the master of the ceremony of the living and the dead, just as Osiris was to the Egyptians. He was the master of the living and of the dead, God of the upper world and God of the underworld. Sirius is Orion's dog, as well as the dog Procyon, the carpenter, which we'll come back to in another post, the carpenter, because we should all be familiar with a carpenter's story in the heavens, and a man who sacrifices himself. Sirius is Orion's dog, as well as the dog Procyon, the carpenter, in Canis Minor. This is how the Irish told the story of Finn McCool, and his two dogs too. It's all celestial. This portion of the heavens, the zodiacal field, the ecliptic where Orion and Canis Major and Minor are our inner animalistic thought patterns and behaviour. It's that part of the brain, our carnal and physical fleshy desires, that prevent us ascending upwards through the Taurus field. Orion was said to be the son of Poseidon, a god, another Dawn, a Dan, an Adonis. He was the son of Poseidon and Uriel, a daughter of Minos of Crete. It was said that Orion could walk on water. Where have we heard this story before? It was said that he could walk on water, and that he was above the law of all the gods and mortal men. If you read the stories, he certainly behaved that way. He had some ego, and got him into a lot of trouble. He broke their laws many times, and was always escaping their wrath. It is said he walked to the Isle of Chios, where he became drunk and raped Merope, daughter of Oenopion. The ruler there, Oenopion, blinded Orion, the one eye of Orion, the one eye, and he stumbles his way to Lemnos, where Hephaestus, the smith god, had his forge. Hephaestus told his servant to guide Orion to the uttermost east, where Helios, the sun god, the sun and the chariot, would heal him, which he did, above Ares, which is Edinburgh. From there we are told Orion returned west, carrying Cedalion, Chiron, Sagittarius, and of course Sagittarius, sits above Mull of Kintyre, just to the west, just north of Arran. Remember, Arran, Orion is Arran, the same spelling. Full of vengeance, the lower man, the carnal man, and this is what Nimrod is, Orion is, the carnal man, this part in the middle heavens that represent the physical flesh, the carnal being. This Orion, full of vengeance, the lower man, the lower carnal being, returns to Chios to challenge Oenopion for blinding him. He's just been given the sun in Aries with healing in its wings, and here he is returning to the lower thought patterns, lower brain, reptilian mind, to fight when he was originally the one who was in the wrong, causing loss and injury and harm to others. It's all about chasing physical desires, this portion in the heavens, and the stories as our ancestors told them. Orion is the ego, that which we must crucify. It's all about chasing the physical desires within that ecliptic and zodiacal portion of the sky. It's about causing loss, injury or harm to others, not thinking, satisfying those carnal desires. And this is the story of Orion, Osiris, Nimrod, the rebel. Nim is a Gallic word. Nim means heaven. The rod is the spine of Albion, the spine that the Kundalini and the conscious energies and the actions and lack of actions, this energy comes up and down our spine. And this is what these stories are actually telling us, and the east-west directions are the movements of these energies, and the suns and the planets are the movements of our energies. That's all they are. The king escapes Orion's clutches by hiding in his underground chamber, the lower realm, the underworld, And thankfully Orion, who's not of the underworld, but is king of the underworld, sits on the barge. Thankfully Orion cannot go down and fails to find him. The Argus Navi is the barge, but Orion never goes down in the barge. It was seen in the Egyptians that Osiris went down and took with him the dead, but he always returns again onto the ecliptic portion, not the lower level of the South Celestial Pole. So his adventures continue on. His next journey takes him back to Crete. His adventures are never ever far away from the west of Scotland. This is the original Crete. This was an isle just off the west of Scotland, under Orion's belt. And it still is. All these celestial events, occurrences, are all marked in standing stones of Scotland, and in the Isle of Arran itself, as are the stories of Jason and the Argonauts. See Anders Collins' book, Stars, Stones and Scholars. It's all decoded in there. A totally fantabulous book, and very informative in every way. I'm just adding my own personal research and taking it a little further for us all to see. Also read Graham K. Griffin's book, The Albion Zodiac, if you can get it. Although his book only deals with England and Wales, it's the same thing, it's the same asterisms projected and marked 3 times over these amazing ancient lands we call the British Isles. Back to Orion's belt, the middle realm, the rebel within. He returns to Crete and meets with Artemis, Selene, Diana, the goddess of the hunt, Ursa Major, the great bear or the great boar of the upper realm. Her hunt is near Polaris. She is queen of the hunt, at the top of the tree. She's with her mother, Leto, in the southwest of Crete, and it's during this time that she meets Orion. It's also during this time his ego and boastful nature kicks in once again, and then he claims that he can kill any wild beast of the field. The beasts of the fields are the asterisms in the upper canopy, which of course Apollo, twin of Diana, disapproves of. And Apollo, by the way, is Set, one of the beasts, which is the Kraken, which is the Leviathan over Lothian, where we get the name Lothian Leviathan. And that is Cetus the beast, the Kraken, which is Apollo. And of course we know that Donald Trump worships Apollo, so there should be enough revelation in those these decodes here to let you know who we're dealing with when we're dealing with Cetus or Trump. He is said to have sent the scorpion. So Apollo disapproves, Set, the Kraken, disapproves. Of course it would, it's one of the 11 beasts of heaven that Tiamat produced. He is said to have sent the scorpion, which is Scorpio, over the Isle of Lewis and Skye. Also carved on the standing stones in that area at Callanish. See my other posts on my YouTube videos on the Callanish stones and the Shiva. As the story in heaven goes, Orion was killed and then placed in the sky by Zeus. Some versions say Apollo, Set, the brother of Artemis, was jealous of their love and tricked Artemis to fire an arrow which killed Orion. Other versions say it was Scorpio, often seen as Judas Iscariot, as we see in the table of the Last Supper by Leonardo da Vinci. And this is said to be what killed Orion, the Scorpio. Could it be that Artemis killed her own lover, Orion? Who knows? Were these stories, these gods, real? Or is it just that these stories, that we have these stories as we travel through this canopy of the great tree? I believe the myths are anatomical, astronomical, and each character merely a storytelling method, a lesson handed down for us by our ancestors to understand the heavens, our minds and our own bodies, and to understand what we call God. It is also a map, these stories, of how we ascend or how we migrate through this world. As above, so below, and so too within. All heading for that North Celestial Pole, the cross, the Cygnus the Swan, the centre of heaven, the great Northern Cross of the Celestial Pole, Polaris, which of course is the tree of life and the garden we know as delight. Eden means delight. Awen. Shalom. Salam alaikum.